Greetings, guys, gals, non-binary pals, and welcome back to another video. On today's episode of Facebook groups that I have infiltrated, today I bring you the group That's It, I'm Husband Shaming, which is a group where women come in to vent frustrations about their husbands or long-term male partners. And they either come in to just get solidarity or to get advice, just to like rant about stuff, get validation, talk shit out. Like, that is the purpose of the group. And oh my God, it is never not maddening, infuriating, upsetting how so many men treat their wives. It'll never not be so unbelievably frustrating and upsetting what women tolerate and what we are told to expect and what we should tolerate. And so today I thought we would sit and we would have a look and we would have a read through and just like get mad together and just yell at some men, because sometimes we need to yell about men. It is very therapeutic. So let's get started and let's get mad. My husband, who I'm trying to leave but can't yet because he tried to take my son last time, my husband is not safe, decided it was more important to buy weed and video games than to pay my car payment. I'm stressed out so bad because we also can't pay rent for the same reason. I had an all-time worst panic attack of my life yesterday, and when I called and told him, he asked what my problem was. I was literally having bad chest pain and have heart problems since birth. When I told him why, he said, and I quote, "Psh, I don't give a fuck about that," and hung up. I lost my mind. Panic got worse. I went to my best friend that, unfortunately, I've fallen in love with, though he doesn't know. Hey, first, let's focus on breathing and settling your body. No need to hurt yourself. What can I do? Do you need me to call you or leave work? I'm here with you. We can fix all of this. I'm not going anywhere. It was never about me being hard to love, was it? That last line shattered my heart. Like, I felt my heart like crack down the middle with that last line. Like, tears are in my eyes right now. That's so devastating. It's such an upsetting situation. It's so horrible how hard it can be to get out of relationships like this. It's so frustrating how difficult it is to be safe and to look after yourself and those who are in your care. It should be so much easier than it is, and it fucking sucks that it can be so difficult. I am so glad there is someone here that loves this woman and who cares for her and wants what is best for her. I obviously am not like an advocate for cheating or anything along those lines. However, there are certain situations in which I think absolutely fair enough. If you were to have an affair with this man, I think that that is valid. I think that this man is like, you know, cares about her a lot and clearly loves her a lot. Maybe not in the same way, but like, I feel like if she were to express that and tell him how she felt and things were to progress, that would be completely fair, even if she's still trapped in this marriage. I think that like, she just deserves to be happy. I think we all deserve to be happy. And I hope that, you know, in this situation that she's able to get out eventually, like, is able to find a way to leave and to leave him behind. And obviously there is someone here who supports her and wants to help her. And I hope that there are other people there as well. I'm really proud of her here for like just realizing that there can be more. Love is real and it can be good. And spending so much time being told by someone who supposedly loves you that you are unlovable, or that like it won't be better than this, and that no one will ever love you as much as I do, and like this is as good as it's gonna get. It can be very easy to believe that and to think that like this is all you deserve. This love that is not really love is like all you're ever gonna get, and that's what you deserve. And to like find someone who shows you that that is not the case, and to then realize like I am lovable, I can find something good, is such an incredible thing. And I think that that deserves to be acknowledged in itself. Because you can have that. Everyone can have that and deserves to have that. And I hope that the situation improves and this woman is able to get out and find that somewhere. Been together 11 years. Not married, but always used the term. What do you do when after 11 years you just feel like a piece of meat, an object? The only time he's nice is when he wants to have sex. Everything out of his mouth is sexual. Like, it never stops. And I'm finally just over feeling that way. Met a guy very unexpectedly one night playing pool. We became friends, and it's just nice to see how I could be treated. That there are men out there that don't care about sex and see you as a person. Me and the significant other of 11 years have a 4-year-old together. It breaks my heart because I don't know what to do. Having kids in the mix really does make things slightly more difficult, because obviously you need more financial support and the likes in order to be able to like thrive and like give yourself and your kid the best life. And I don't know the work situation or anything, so it's hard to like fully give complete input. But I think a lot of people stay in relationships for their children. And I think it's really important to put out there that like most kids who come from households where parents don't get along and don't like each other would rather their parents just separate. I know so many people who are just like, I wish my parents separated. I wish my parents had a divorce. I think that growing up with parents who are separated but are happy is so much better than growing up in a household where people are miserable, people are yelling, people are arguing, people are snapping. Like, showing your kid that it's okay to prioritize yourself and your happiness and well-being, I think, is really important. It is good to showcase that like you have to sometimes make hard decisions and do things that are right for you. And if that means getting a divorce and separating, then that is what that means. You have a responsibility as a parent to like showcase healthy relationships, and your kids learn from you. So if they are growing up in a house where their parents don't get along and in a way of like there is absolutely no respect other than like when a service is being done for your husband, or like he's objectifying you, or he's just being a bad person and treating you badly, then your kid is going to model that behavior, because that's how we learn about relationships and love and what that looks like. So I think it's important to separate when you feel like you need to separate, even though it's difficult. And once again, in this situation, I think that, you know, if you were to engage in like an affair of some sorts, I don't think it's the right thing to do, because I think you should definitely have a conversation and like clarify what's happening and ask for separation before you do that. But I also, it's one of these situations where I couldn't blame you if you did, and I don't necessarily think that you are a bad person because you're in a situation where you don't know how to leave, and also you are being mistreated. So you're not really engaged in the relationship anyway. You're just kind of there because you feel like you have to be. So, weird blurry lines. Leave, basically. If you can, get out. Is anybody else married to a husband who doesn't really know how to do anything? I know, it's my fault for marrying him, but damn, I thought he would learn some things. I feel like it's less about not knowing how to do things and more about not being willing to learn how to do things. Because we have the internet. We have YouTube. There are tutorials for literally everything. Like, you can learn how to do anything in an afternoon. And if the things he doesn't know how to do are like cooking and cleaning and like basic shit like that, he absolutely does. His parents obviously did not expect him to do that shit growing up and didn't teach him, which is terrible and definitely on them. But like, as an adult, they're not difficult tasks. Like, when you are like able-bodied, which I'm assuming that he is because it was not mentioned otherwise, these are not difficult things to just figure out, you know? You know what I mean? Like, especially with, again, the internet being available to you. Like, I don't know how to do shit. If I don't know how to do it, I'll Google it and I'll figure it out, because that's kind of just the world that we live in now. Like, you see people saying like, my husband doesn't know how to do laundry. It's like, I was never taught how to do laundry. Like, my mom did my laundry growing up because you do the household's laundry all at once. I moved out, and then obviously I had to start doing my own laundry. Did I have to be like, oh no, I don't know how to do it. Oh, I'm never going to be able to wear clean clothes ever again. No, I didn't even have to Google it, really. It's very simple. I put my clothes in, followed the directions on like the detergent, and then I think I Googled like, what temperature should I wash my clothes at? And then I, twisted the dial and hit the start button. It's really like, some things are so self-explanatory Same with like, even if you've never learned to cook, if you Google a recipe, it kind of tells you what to do at every step. And it's not difficult to just follow the instructions, you know? Like, these men are like, I don't know how to do it. You have to do it for me. Or like, you have to teach me. No, just figure it out, bro. You're a big boy. You can do it. I believe in you. But yeah, I'm gonna circle back around though to the end of this, to the like, I know it's my fault for marrying him, but I thought he would learn things. I have so many questions about this because this does happen a lot. There are so many comments on this being like, yeah, this is my husband. Someone was like, yep, married a year and divorced in less than a year. I don't understand how we get here. Either you go into this marriage knowing that he doesn't know how to do any of this and doesn't care to learn because he has showcased that throughout the entirety of your relationship, or you are getting married before knowing him well enough. I feel like this is often a result of people rushing into marriages. I learned things about marriage growing up. I was told specific things by my mother when it came to marriage. First thing she told me was, don't get married. My mom doesn't care for marriage. She never wanted to get married. She did anyway, but my mom is an anti-marriage person. She thinks it's ridiculous. She told me when I was, I think, like 12, being like, the only reason marriage exists and that people get married is because they got married so they could have sex, and saving sex to a marriage is ridiculous. Try it before you buy it, so there's no need in getting married. Just a whole separate thing. The second thing I was told was, if you really want to get married though, be together for at least 2 years before getting engaged, because by that point, the honeymoon phase and those hormones and whatever will have gone. And then when you're engaged, be engaged for at least a year or two. And I think that that's really wise, you know? And also live together for like a year before you get engaged as well. Like, I think that's very important. You have to know that person. What they're putting in before you get married is what they're going to be putting in after you get married. Nothing is gonna snap change the day you get married, or at the very least it shouldn't. I don't understand how or why it would. But like, what you're getting before is what you're getting after. So if he doesn't know how to do shit before you get married, and he is refusing to put an effort to learn before you get married, he's not gonna change after you do. Don't get married if he's not willing to help out in your relationship before that point. And don't get married if you've not been living together for a long time. Oh, by the way, not sponsored or anything, but what I'm drinking right now, I wanted to share, because this is called Cola Gaza. Coca-Cola is on the BDS boycott list because they are supporting Israel. So we're not buying Coca-Cola or any drinks made by them, which is so many. But Kat found these, Cola Gaza, and it tastes exactly like Coke. Like, this tastes like I'm drinking a Diet Coke right now. And 100% of the profits go to aid in Gaza. So if you are boycotting Coke, as you should be, but you miss having Coke, then you can get some of these. I don't know if they're available globally or just in the UK. I'm not too sure, but I will put the link in the description if you are interested in supporting the brand. Carrying on, they're really good. My husband and I got into an argument a minute ago because of me spending money. Stay-at-home mom. I told him I needed something from Walmart: shampoo, conditioner, tweezers, body wash, wipes. So we got there and I got the 5 things I went in for. However, for a while I've been telling him I need to buy our toddler clothes and a pillow. And I wanted dermaplanes as well, so we walked around and we grabbed those, and I also grabbed an aux cord because he brought home a speaker for our TV and we haven't been able to use it because we didn't have a cord. My toddler also picked out a ball. She was so happy walking around with it. We got up there and it ended up being kind of expensive. He's always been weird about me spending money, so I felt super anxious. My toddler's outfit was $8 each, her pillow was $3.97, my shampoo was $1.97, conditioner was the same, tweezers were expensive, like $13, and the dermaplanes were $2, the Ox was $9.88, body wash was also expensive, like $7. The ball she wanted was $4.98, and for her wipes, I only wanted a small pack of 3 because I could make it last, but he wanted me to get the big box, which ended up being $25. Anyways, I ended up putting her outfits back. She didn't get the ball she wanted, and I also had grabbed a loofah and didn't get it either. Everything that I got, I'll use till it's gone. Her outfit was a lot, and I agreed with him on that, but I really felt bad she didn't get her ball. He was mad at me for being upset she didn't get her ball. I always find ways to get her clothing and toys without telling him, but he never buys her things himself, and when he can, he'll tell me and her no. I feel like he always uses the money however he wants, and anytime I've come into money, I'm guilted into spending it how he wants. I got inheritance from my grandma who passed. I received it in 2 parts. parts, at 20 and at 25. When I got it at 20, he was having trouble paying for rent in an apartment he made us move into because we were living with my family and he was always arguing with them. The second part of my inheritance I got this year. I bought us a mobile home, and with the remaining 1,000, I was supposed to buy things for the new home, but he needed a vehicle. He'd been using a work van. So I gave it to him to add to whatever he had saved, and he got a motorcycle. Me and my toddler didn't get to leave the house for months unless my mom drove up here and took me and my toddler out to eat. Anyways, he's mad. He left the house and I told him he could just go return the stuff and I wouldn't ask him to help me anymore. I'm just tired of these games. This is straight up, plain and simple, just financial abuse. Just straight up. And I'm really glad that all the comments are saying the exact same thing. Everyone is like, this is financial abuse. This is absolutely not okay. This is a stay-at-home mother. She doesn't have her own income. And when you're in a situation like this and one of you doesn't earn money, that means that your money is your money. That is the family's money. You don't get to be like, I control all of the money and I am allocating you the minimal amount possible. You aren't allowed to spend any money. I can buy what I want. I can spend whatever I want. But our toddler, our child, isn't allowed clothes. She's not allowed toys. If you want that for her, you have to buy it with the money that you don't have because you spend all your time looking after me and our child. This man is like really out here being like, you have to cook for me, you have to clean for me, you have to look after our child, you have to do all of the grocery shopping, you have to do everything. But I am not going to actually give you any money. You're not allowed to buy any nice things for yourself. You're not even allowed to clothe our child because you don't deserve that. You haven't earned that. Being a stay-at-home mother is a job. When you get into this agreement, you have to compensate her for that work. And I loved that so many of the comments are being like, he's gonna play this game, start billing him. Start billing him for all the tasks that you do. Write up invoices, being like, I cleaned the house, so you owe me this much for that. I made dinner, this costs this much. You have to pay me for all the tasks that I do. You want me to continue to be a housekeeper and look after our home? You have to start paying me to do it. And I think that's completely fair enough, honestly, because that is how the situation should work. That is what being a stay-at-home mom is. You're not employed by your partner that works, but like you kind of are. That is kind of the situation, is that he has to pay you for the work that you are doing. Like the fact that she's here being like $8 for an outfit's really expensive, so I put that back. My body wash was $7, that's so expensive. That is so cheap. That is not a lot of money. You have been told, like, made to feel like that's like such an obscene expense when, as far as like clothes and things go, that is not very expensive. I understand that sometimes you have to live like paycheck to paycheck and like it's difficult financial times, but some things are necessary and like clothes are necessary, and sometimes, you know, toys are very necessary. And then on top of that, obviously like getting inheritance money and having your partner be like, no, that's for me, I get your money. No, the fuck you don't. Buying a motorcycle with your wife's inheritance money when you don't even have a car so she can't leave the house is next level fucked up. And it's so frustrating in these situations because like you want to tell her to leave because she is being mistreated and abused and is like in a situation that is so unhealthy that she should not be in, but she can't leave because she has no money, because she's being financially abused, and that is why these men do it. If you don't get any money, you can't fucking go anywhere. This man does not want a wife. He does not want a partner. He wants a servant that he doesn't compensate, which is, you know, a slave. That is what he wants. He doesn't care about her or her well-being or anything. He just wants to feel powerful and get her to do things for him because she literally cannot survive without him. If you find yourself in this situation, I really hope that you have family that you can go to and you know that this isn't okay. And I'm really glad that like these groups are so good in the sense that like there is so much good advice that does go on in the comments, which I'm really glad for. And yeah, I hope that, you know, she's able to realize that this is not okay and that she is not being unreasonable and she deserves to be compensated and she gets the hell out because she deserves to get the hell out. My fiance is on paper a super good guy. Fairly traditional, financially carries, chivalrous, soft, and caring. But I feel like whenever I do something he perceives as wrong or that I should know better, example, the other night while watching a movie, my sister called and we talked for 20 minutes, he gets really mad and he starts passive-aggressive change in tones, sarcastic laugh, undermining, huffs, and then when I push him on the issue, he likes to get big and put his foot down, like stands over me and says like, I'm not doing this with you, you know that's disrespectful. Now, I'm not one to back down from a fight. I'm naturally submissive, but if you come at me defensive like that, you're gonna get immediate match in attitude. But then he always threatens to leave, and I tell him to. And he will throw all the stuff he does and how he treats me in my face and will say I don't do anything for him. And ask me what I do and make me feel like I'm not doing anything. But I do. I work. I take care of our daughter. I do the majority of the housework, childcare, and cooking. I just don't make as much money as him. And every time we fight, it goes like this. Maybe 8 to 10 fights in total. I've always told him how much it hurts, how it breaks parts of me, how I already am so hard on myself that when he says stuff like that, when he's mad, it just validates my fears and thoughts. He always apologizes first and does his best to make it up to me, but it's like if we've had this conversation so many times and he knows it's hurting me, why is he doing it? He is doing it because it's hurting you. I'm so sorry to break that to you. Like, this is all just one massive screaming red flag. Nothing about any of this is okay. Like, this is all entirely just emotional manipulation. Not letting you speak or say how you feel and invalidating everything that you do and threatening to leave you as a direct response to you defending yourself. None of that is okay. All of that is emotional abuse, as well as like playing directly into insecurities and like hitting you exactly where he knows it hurts. Like, you've told him that you feel a specific way and that him doing and saying things to you is invalidating you and is like making your fears feel true. I hate to say it, but it only gets worse from here. From here, it just continues to carry on and get worse because he knows what he's doing. This is where it all kind of starts to like veer off. And abusers are so clever, right? Like, I'm speaking about this coming from a position where I have been in exactly this situation. And so I know firsthand the steps that it takes and the slope that it is. And they just keep going. They will continuously apologize and they will say, I'm so sorry. I will change. I promise I'll change. That wasn't fair of me. What do you need from me? I will do better. I will be better. And for like 5 minutes, they're better. And then they get worse again. And they keep doing it, but they keep making you promises that you believe because you want to believe them. And all the while, every time they get worse, it's like worse than the last time. And they keep playing into those insecurities and they start pushing it to the point where it's very much like, no one else will love you. You are so lucky that you have me. No one else is going to love you like I do. You are nothing without me. It is telling you that your insecurities are true and they're the only person in the entire world that will love you despite of them. And you start to believe them. They make you think that you literally cannot live without them. And like, they break you down into nothing so that they can pick you up. He wants you to think that you deserve to be treated this way because then when he is nice to you, it feels good and you will accept it and he will tell you that he is helping you and that he is changing, that he is better, that, you know, this is what you deserve, that he loves you. But all the while he's sort of like molding you into the person that he wants you to be and making you completely reliant on him. He will manipulate you and make you think that you deserve it until the point where like you believe him and you won't be able to leave. So you're at this point right now where shit sucks. He is mistreating you and he has started to emotionally manipulate you and play into your insecurities and like hurt you deliberately. And the best and only advice I can give when you find yourself in this situation is you've noticed it now, get out before it's too late because it only gets harder to leave. Okay, y'all, how are we dealing with our husbands, fiancés, boyfriends, partners being the type of person who is always saying, oh, I was going to do that. Oh, I was just getting to that. Oh, I was going to do that tomorrow. I'm so tired of I was going to in response to something I've now been forced to handle. I had Zoom nursing class at 7 a.m. and needed help with our cats and dogs so I could participate in class. He slept in until 10, so I took care of them during class and his response was, oh, I was going to take care of them this morning. Then he decides he's going to take out the trash for the first time ever. He takes the bags out of the can and leaves the trash and recycling bags on the floor next to my chair when I'm doing class so he can go up to poop for 20 plus minutes. Our fur monsters get excited and start to tear into the bags, as they have many times before, so I have to take care of it in the middle of class. He comes back downstairs. Oh, I was going to take the trash out. My response, yeah, the monsters were tearing into it because they always want to get into the trash. The pathetic response I get, oh, I'm doing everything wrong today. Like, bruh, just take accountability and don't try guilt trip me into making you feel better for not being a better partner. How do you deal with the I was going to men in your life? I've straight up just stopped responding when he says that because there's just nothing for me to say. Taking the rubbish bags out of the bins and putting them next to her chair while she's in class and then disappearing for over 20 minutes and then having the audacity to play the victim is phenomenal. Oh my God. The absolute audacity of that is unreal. Oh, I was going to take the trash. No, you weren't. No, you weren't. I cannot believe, like, starting a task and then just not finishing it. Like, it's not a difficult task that takes a long time either. Like, I understand getting, like, sidetracked sometimes. You know, you can start a task and then maybe you'll get distracted and do another task. Like, that happens sometimes, sure. This is not a task where that is something that happens. It's literally one thing. You pick up the rubbish bags and then you walk them outside to the bin to throw them away properly. That's one thing. It takes, like, conscious thought to detour to where she's taking class and put the bags down next to her. That's not, oh, I was going to. That is so deliberately like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this task. I can't believe you're making me do this. You have to do it. Actually, this is your responsibility, and I'm going to make sure you know it's your responsibility. Like, there is no other way around that. There's no other way to view that. That's exactly what just happened. And trying to play the, like, oh, I'm doing everything wrong today. Yeah, you are. What the fuck? What the fuck? Especially after, like, I'm sorry. He was going to take care of the animals at 7 a.m. when she had a class. Then he wakes up at 10 and goes, oh, I was going to do that. A little too late there, bro. Like, you can't be like, oh, I can't believe you did that because, like, that was my job and I was going to do that. Then you had to wake up 3 hours ago if you were going to do that. Like, you knew what time it needed to be done. Then sleeping 3 hours past that and being like, oh, I was going to. No, you weren't. No, you weren't. You did not have the intention to do that. Are you kidding? Are you kidding right now? You do not get sympathy for this. You could not do this and then go, oh, I'm just a guy. I'm like, I don't know. It's like, it's all too difficult. Like, I'm trying my best. No, you're not. Absolutely, you are not the victim here. I so hope that, like, conversations need to take place, obviously. Here's the thing, though, is I imagine conversations have already taken place. Like, the only thing you can do, really, is to express how you're feeling and just be like, hey, I feel incredibly undervalued and underappreciated. This does not feel like a partnership. I feel like I'm doing way more than I should have to, and all I need is a little bit of help and you won't give it to me. And you're actually making my life harder and I feel unappreciated. And, like, they should respect that. And if they don't respect that, they don't respect you. And if they don't respect you, you don't have a relationship. That's really where we end up. A lot of people like to say that, you know, I'm very quick to say to people, leave him. Throw him away, get out. And a lot of people come in and, like, not specifically in my videos, but I've seen people say it a lot, being like, too many people just say to leave as a response to, like, relationships not going well. Like, you need to work at relationships. Like, you can't just, like, leave. Sometimes you need to put work in. I'm like, yeah, okay, yeah, sometimes you do need to put work in. This is true. Getting out and leaving isn't always the solution. Sometimes you can fix it. Sure, absolutely. But if you've tried to fix it and they are unwilling to change, then what else can you do? You know, like, if you are not being respected, like, I don't care if the other aspects of your relationship are good. This is such a fundamental core of the relationship. And if it lacks respect, then, like, why are you here? You don't stay in a situation where you are not being respected. Because what other aspects of the relationship is this being taken into? Have a conversation, communicate, try to figure it out. And if it doesn't change, rethink the relationship completely. For a couple of years now, I feel like I haven't been able to talk to my husband about my feelings without him trying to one-up me. I think I've hit my final straw and I just don't know what to do. I don't want to divorce him. We have 3 kids and I do love him. I feel like we would get along so much better if we both could just listen to exchange others' feelings. I told him the other day that he doesn't understand the mental load I have as a stay-at-home mom to 3 kids, 2 of which are 1-year-old twins. He immediately spat back with, "And I don't have a mental load? Okay." It's not that he doesn't. He has a full-time job and he's a full-time student getting his degree on top of being a dad. Am I the asshole for feeling this way? I just want my feelings to be recognized, and it always seems to be a burden for him. I'm really struggling and he seems to not care. This is such an upsetting and frustrating situation, right? Because you should always feel listened to and safe to open up and be vulnerable in your relationship. That is really, really important. It's so frustrating because obviously he is under a lot of stress and his life must be very difficult and stressful at the moment. Full-time job, full-time student, and being a parent, that must be exhausting. However, as said, that doesn't mean he has the right to completely diminish your issues as well. Everyone is struggling with different things and it's not a competition. Nothing is a competition. Just because you're struggling with this doesn't mean someone else isn't struggling with something else. The mental exhaustion of it may be on different levels, it may be the same, it may be felt in different ways. None of that matters. What matters is being there for each other and validating each other. I understand it can be a lot to take on more emotions when you are already struggling, but if you are in a partnership, it is so important to make your partner feel heard and respected and loved. And I think in this situation too, she doesn't even really she doesn't want anything done. She doesn't even really want advice. She just wants someone to talk to and to get comfort. And I think a lot of people don't realize what that looks like. I think a lot of people offer advice and think that when people are venting to them and telling them how they feel, they think that what that person wants is for them to fix the situation. But that's not necessarily always what it is. And that doesn't seem to be what it is here either. It's just someone who feels alone and wants to confide in their life partner. Maybe they just want to cry. Maybe they just want to hug. Maybe they just need to talk and get it off their chest and be told, "I'm so sorry that you're experiencing that. It must be hard. Do you need a hug?" Sometimes that's all you need. So I had to get back surgery on Tuesday. I was a little nervous, but all went well. Thank God. So I've been resting so I can heal. My 4-year-old grandson was acting up and my husband disciplined him. I basically said, "You shouldn't yell, calmly talk to him." He started arguing with me, so I went back to my room because I'm not supposed to be walking around too much. I can't fix meals for myself and I have to clean my wound once daily, which he has been doing for me. So I told him it was time to clean it and I had only eaten once, which I'll call brunch, and I am on different meds that I can't take on an empty stomach, so I need food to not have an upset stomach. It was around 6:30 to 7 p.m. and he told me no. He didn't like how I spoke to him and then commenced to tell me to just sit there and think about it, like I was a child. So I got no food or help, but I did manage to clean my wound myself. I had some cookies on my nightstand and that's what I ate. At this point, I lost all respect for him. I would never treat anybody like that. Oh my God. Okay. Yeah. I lost all respect for him. Yeah. Good. This is astounding because this is her grandkid. So I mean, maybe this is a newer marriage. I don't know, but maybe they've been together for a really long time. They've potentially been together for decades if this is both of their grandkids. But even still, seemingly based on that last comment, something like this hasn't happened before. So imagine someone that you love and trust and who respects you and treats you kindly and has been so good looking after you after this surgery just turns around and says that to you over a mild disagreement. She didn't even say, she literally just said, "Hey, maybe take a different approach." And he turned around and medically neglected her. What? What? Exactly, Janera and Dwecky. Exactly. I don't care what the argument about. Honestly, I don't care what the argument was about at all. It could have been about anything or nothing. You don't do this, even if you're mad at each other. This is not something that you do. You could be so mad at that person and you still give them food. You can't just say to your partner or anyone no, you didn't treat me nicely before. You spoke back to me, so you don't get to eat. I'm actually gonna starve you because I didn't like the way you spoke to me. Sir? Holy shit. And then also like not cleaning the wound either, obviously, which means that, you know, luckily she was able to clean it herself. But I can imagine a wound on your back is really hard to get to and to clean. So refusing to give her food and then refusing to help clean the wound, basically being like, starve, have your stomach problems, and I hope your wound gets infected. Because she disagreed with you one time. Based on the way it ended with I lost all respect with him, I really hope she got the fuck out immediately. Just out the fucking door. Because that's exactly what the response should be here. As soon as someone does this shit, out. That second. That's, you just get your bags, get out of the fucking house. I hope that she has somewhere to stay. Family, friends, somewhere. Or kick him out if at all possible, because you can't fucking do this. This post though, this is how I found out that there's a service called Adult Protective Services, because everyone in the comments was like, call Adult Protective Services. This is medical neglect. Call Adult Protective Services, which I didn't know was a thing. So learn something new every single day. Imagine doing that to someone that you supposedly love and care about too. Like, that is not a fit punishment for anything. Firstly, you shouldn't punish someone for disagreeing with you ever. That's not how this works. But like, medical neglect is not an okay thing to do regardless of literally any circumstances, like at all. So yeah, I hope that she left. A lot of people were saying like, divorce, there's no fixing this. You need to call Adult Protective Services. Get out, leave. This is medical neglect. And I'm really glad that so many people are saying that, because that is so important. Like, there are dozens of comments saying that. And I think that that's like the good thing about this group and so many of these groups that I found. Like, I started joining these Facebook groups because I was looking for groups to get like mad at, to like poke fun at, to like have a look into and just see the sort of gossip and just have a bit of a laugh. But through these, I found so many of groups like this where there's just like such a community of people who are like looking for support, and there are so many people who offer such good advice, and there is such a good community. They do like call each other out, they do offer support where it is needed, and I think it's because there's such like a diverse amount of people in these groups, and they are really here just as women supporting women. And it's so good to see, and it's like not what I was expecting when I started joining these groups, but I'm really glad that it's what I found. So much of this, like in this group in particular, it's so important, and like I'm so proud of so many of these people. Like, a lot of the ones that I read today were obviously speaking about positions of like people who are being abused and, you know, haven't really come to terms with that or don't really know that that's what that is. And they came on and they were like thinking like, is this right? Is this okay? And I think that that in itself is such a massive thing, and that goes underappreciated. If you are in a relationship where you are being abused, a lot of the time, you know, you kind of are aware of that but choose to ignore it. It's really easy to like tell yourself that you deserve it or that you're overreacting because, you know, that's what you're being told. That's how you're feeling. You like just think that you have to suck it up. And usually a piece of you knows that it's not okay. Like, there's a part of you that knows that it's abuse, but you aren't ready to hear that being said. So you keep it to yourself. You know that if you go and you post it on a Facebook group or you say it to a friend or something, they're going to tell you like, that's not okay, you need to leave. Like, a piece of you knows, so you don't, because you don't want to hear it because you're not ready to accept it or confront that. So seeing these posts and these women who are coming here and sharing this makes me really proud and like happy, because although it's devastating and upsetting circumstances, seeing that, you know, they are ready to share that, seeing that they have acknowledged that this isn't okay and I need to talk about it and I want to hear other people's input, is like such an important, massive step towards looking after yourself and getting out and doing what is good for you. So like just even sharing is like such a good step. And the fact that there are so many people, and the posts that are specifically a lot about like my partner is abusing me, but like not putting a name to it, there are usually like dozens to sometimes hundreds of comments from women being like, this is abuse, you need to leave. This is abuse, you need to leave. I am so sorry. this is what the situation is. This is not okay. Please do this. Please get help. Like, I'm so glad because, you know, you can be thinking that maybe it's not okay, but invalidating yourself and telling yourself you deserve it or that you're overreacting, and then posting it and getting such like overwhelming response of people validating your emotions and like, you know, telling you it's abuse to the point where you cannot ignore the fact that it's abuse and telling you that you have to get out. Like, I hope that that's enough to get through to these people and help them take the steps to leave and take care of themselves. I'm glad that there are people who are ready to hear it and hopefully who take it on board and listen to the advice and go forwards with that. Never settle for anything less than what you deserve, and don't let anyone else tell you what you deserve, because we all deserve love, we all deserve respect, we all deserve to be happy and to be treated well. I hope that everyone like finds that within themselves. I hope that you all know that you don't need to find that in another person. You can be perfectly happy on your own or with just friendships. Like, you do not need to be in a relationship regardless of what society tries to tell us. A lot of people get into relationships when they reach like a certain age or a certain point in life because there's a societal pressure to do that. So a lot of people end up settling for less than what they are worth. A lot of people end up being mistreated because they feel like that's what they deserve. They're like, well, I haven't found a partner yet, so obviously I deserve to be treated like this, or etc. There's a whole bunch of reasons that people end up, you know, in situations where they do not deserve to be. And I just need everyone to know that it is so much better being by yourself than being with someone who does not respect you. Be single rather than be disrespected. It doesn't matter what anyone else says or what anyone else thinks. Like, you know what is best for you, and it is not worth being in a relationship where you are unhappy. I just really need to hammer that home because we do live in a society where we are made to believe that we will never be happy by ourselves. You can be happy by yourself. If you are unhappy in your relationship, do not stay because you think that you have to be in that relationship. Relationships do not have to last forever to be successful. If the relationship has run its course, you can leave. It does not mean the relationship failed. It means the relationship was a success. It was important and it served the time that it needed to serve, and now it's over and you can move on. It didn't fail. You just outgrew it. Please choose to be happy and to do what is best for you, and do not accept anything less than love and respect and trust. With all that being said, massive thank you to my Kiwi Cat patrons: Stella, Trippy Day 27, Bay the Trucker, Chastity, Beckett, Prismatic PT, LJ James D, MA Ping the Games, Blaze, Uh-Oh It's Craiglow, Phil the Duck, Jessie A, River, Queen Glimmer, Ella, Lady Nutbar, Mr. Noodle, Radsack, Knitting Menace, Samuel, Chris, Ellie, Alexis, and Bobby. I love and appreciate you so much. Thank you so much for joining. And if anyone else would like to come on Patreon, you go to patreon.com/SavvyCat or click the top link in the description. For as little as £1 a month, you get my videos 1 to 5 days early and with no ads for those days. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram, The Queer Kiwi, and Twitter, That Queer Kiwi. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Stay safe. Keep fighting. I love you. Mwah. When you close your eyes.